can all go to the same entrance to the Taylor Theater. We can sit in any seat we want to at Taylor Theater, and we can sit together in Taylor Theater.
Hallelujah! Wow, class. We learned a lot that I did not know about Taylor Theater. Can you thank Mrs. Bowers for sharing her knowledge with us?
Thank you.
Thank you for your kind attentiveness. Now go out and enjoy the rest of your tour together.
Thank you, Mrs. Bowers. Miss Ryder, where are we going to stop? We are going to stop a little ways up the street to visit with blind Tony Horton. He comes out to our school to play for our students. Will that work out time-wise for our tour?
That's fine. We only have 2 more places to stop.
Stand up, class. We are going to stop to see blind Tony Horton while we are here. It's a nice day, so I'm sure he is playing Over Beyond Sound Feet Shoes.
That sounds good to me. I love Blind Tony. He plays such beautiful music. What's his real name?
His real name is Mr. Anthony Horton, but he likes being called Blind Tony. Okay, class, let's be on our way. We expected to see you, Blind Tony, but not Mrs. Byrd-Phelps.
Well, I had some errands to do downtown, so I just stopped to play some tunes with Blind Tony.
What have y'all been playing?
Well, today we've been playing some music by John Coltrane. Y'all know John Coltrane?
Yes.
What you know about John Coltrane? I don't know nothing about John Coltrane. Did you know that John Coltrane's family is from Edenton? And that is actually his mother is from Edenton.
Yes.
Y'all knew that? I didn't even know that. Miss Phelps taught me that.
You played the saxophone.
Yes, he did. He could play that saxophone.
He was from Avery, North Carolina. He played jazz.
And he used to come to Edenton.
Y'all are awesome.
Yeah.
You know what you're talking about.
They
Blind
do.
Tony, these are 4th graders, and we have 2 5th graders with the group, Della and Avery. This is Miss Lewis's class.
But y'all are doing great, and you're doing a great job teaching. Yes.
Blind Tony, I've never met you before. I'm Miss Sarah Ryder, and I'm giving these students a tour of some important places.
Well, Mrs. Ryder, nice to meet you. And maybe me and Miss Phelps could do a little something more, show you all a little something about John Coltrane. I know she taught me a lot about him.
Certainly, I would love to learn something about Mr. Coltrane. I love music.
You love his music? Nice.
Well, Blind Tony kind of told you already that John Coltrane's mother and some of her family members were from Edenton. So let's talk about that, how I came to find that out. I was looking through some articles trying to find out if John Coltrane did some performances in North Carolina.
Did he?
No, he didn't. But I found out that his mother, Alice Blair Coltrane, and his grandparents, as in her parents, William Wilson and Alice Virginia Blair, were born in Edenton.
That is so fascinating, Miss Byrd-Phelps.
Mr. Wilson Blair and his wife were each born in 1860, just before slavery was outlawed in the United States.
John Coltrane's parents were slaves?
Not really. They were born into an enslaved family, but Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863, so they never became slaves. Now, Mr. Wilson Blair's parents, William and Esther Blair, were enslaved people. In the family tree, they lived on a plantation owned by Joshua Skinner Jr. They worked as field hands for over 50 years to tend the crops that were raised on the plantation.
Where was that plantation?
It was on Soundside Road.
Avery, don't get any ideas. We're not walking that far.
She's right, Avery. The former plantation location is actually about 6 miles away. Well, look over here on the smart board to see some pictures of the area that we're talking about. The name of the plantation was Athol, and Joshua Skinner Jr. had the fancy plantation house built in 1836.
Where did they get the name Athol?
I'm not sure. There's a town in Scotland that is called Athol, and it has a white castle, which is very unusual because the castles in Europe are usually brown. So the plantation house is white, and it's still there on Athol Lane, just off Soundside Road. The road is next to the Nitec plant. Could y'all see that?
Yes, I see.
There's a store across the road from the Nitec plant. I'm sure some of you might have stopped at the store before. See it? Check this out. The plantation was in the area where the airport is now. There's also several businesses on that land, and some of the land is still farm. Speaking of farming, Joshua Skinner Jr. had 138 enslaved persons to take care of his house and land. He was the second largest slave owner in the county.
That's not right. He should not have owned people.
I agree. No human should be owned and used by another. Blind Tony, your ancestors were enslaved. How do you feel about that?
Well, it wasn't right, but it made us strong. It made us persevere, and it made us to look to God for that which we couldn't look for in man. You learn to take the bad. The Beatles had a song, you take a sad song and make it better. Take a sad song and make it better. That's what it is.
That's a big deal.
Yes, it is. Now, play some music.
Yes. Which John Coltrane tune do you want us to play?
Naima.
Who's Naima?
Naima was his wife. That's her name. It's a great tune.
Blind Tony. Now, class, we are going to get on the bus to go to the last two places. Miss Ryder, Della, and Avery are going with us, so let's make room for them. Class, while we're going to our next historic site, we need to talk about something. Do you remember when you watched Mrs. O'Kelly's performance?
Yes.
Were you kind and respectful to Miss O'Kelly?
We listened to her.
Did you listen to her without disrupting her singing?
We sat through the entire second song without talking.
Did you sit through the first song without saying anything?
No. We got scared. She was singing about someone who was going to die.
Yes, but that was no reason to start talking and yelling.
We didn't like that song and it was scary.
Is it right to be rude to someone just because you don't like the song they are singing? No, it's not. You need to take a lesson from the ones who picketed in front of the Taylor Theater. They didn't like how they were being treated unfairly, but they disagreed with dignity. They didn't scream at the people who were ugly to them. They turned the other cheek. That means they showed love and respect for their fellow man. Now, are you going to be kind, even if you don't like where we go? I can't hear you. Are you going to be kind, even if you don't like where we go? Much better. Okay, Miss Ryder, tell us about this very interesting place.
Class, this is Providence Burial Ground, a cemetery for African Americans that dates from the late 1700s to the mid 1800s. 4 African American men established this area for people of color and had a church built. African Americans in the community felt comfortable coming here just to socialize or have church together.
Nathan, come here. What are you two doing?
You said we need to be respectful.
You two don't have to do that. Just pay attention to Miss Ryder and listen.
We know the identities of some African Americans who were buried here. Do you remember the name Molly Hornicle? You know, Harriet Jacobs' grandmother who hid her in her house?
Yes.
Well, she is buried in this cemetery. One of Edenton's great builders, Thomas Barneswell, is buried here too. He was a freed African American. And most notably, Jonathan Overton is buried in the cemetery. He was a private in the Continental Army during the Revolutionary War, and he lived to be 100.
Whoa.
That's a big deal.
His gravestone looks nice.
Students, I know you don't like graveyards, but many people of color were comforted when they spent time here. It made them feel close to their relatives who had died. Harriet Jacobs wrote this in her book, Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl. Both of her parents died by the time she was only 13 years old and were buried here. She would come here because she missed them. Could you imagine how sad you would feel if you lost both your parents?
I don't even want to think about that.
No one does. Though we don't like graveyards, and we are freaked out by them, they do serve a purpose. We respect and connect with those who are buried in them. Out of respect for the African Americans who are buried here, Mrs. Lisa Rankins is going to come forward to sing a song called When the Angels Come. Yes, thank you.
We are never alone.
The zombies? No. Anyone, did you hear any of the zombies?
That is wonderful. Miss Lisa, we owe you big time.
All I did was sing.
Well, the power of your voice and the power of that music was real. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, everyone, we have to get back onto the bus to go to one more place on this fine Friday afternoon.
Can we sing on the bus?
Of course, if it makes you feel better.
I have an idea.